I'm going to use this question as an example to show you how to use Excel to solve out IRR. A project that provides annual cash flows of $18,200 for 9 years costs $88,000 today. So the first several parts are easy to get. Just the final part, at what discount rate would you be indifferent between accepting the project and rejecting it? So if we are to be indifferent between accepting and rejecting it, that means the NPV has to be 0, because if NPV is positive, then we should accept the project. If NPV is negative, then we should reject the project. So unless if the NPV is 0, then we can be indifferent. So if NPV is 0, the discount rate then is called IRR. So basically, this part of the question is asking us what is the IRR for this project. So to get the IRR, we can use Excel. So let me start from the scratch. So, and then just year 0 and 1 until pull all the way down to year 9. So year 0, that's the current year, and the cash flow is the cost, cash outlay, $88,000. So since it's a negative cash flow, so we should have a negative sign there. And then starting from year 1, we have an annual cash flows of 18,200. So 18,200. And this is the same for every year for 9 years. So we just pull down for this. So this is we know this is called annuity, right? Starting from year 1. So IRR, we can use the IRR function. So let me zoom this in so you can see more clearly. Equals, in Excel, there's a function called IRR and open parentheses, values. So you can see the first argument here is values. So we start from the very first cash flow, that's the current cash flow negative. And then pull down your mouse all the way down to the last cash flow, year 9 cash flow. And then the second argument, we generally don't use this argument. It's a guess. So that's the initial value to try different discount rate until NPV is 0. So Excel also used the try and error method to get to the discount rate. So this is because I already set up the format cell. You can see format cell to keep 2 decimal places. Because if you go back to the question, the rounding requirement says do not round intermediate calculations. Enter your answer as a percent rounded to 2 decimal places. So that's why I enter the answer as a percent and rounded to 2 decimal places. But sometimes by default, actually Excel will just give you a number without any rounding. So you might have to change the formatting requirement to get 2 decimal places. So that's the final answer, 14.63%. And so that's one way to get to this number. The second way is to utilize the fact that the cash flow pattern starting from year 1 is an annuity. And the IRR is basically the interest rate in terms of the terminology in the session 2 on the time value of money, is the interest rate that makes the NPV to be 0. In other words, NPV is the PV, present value of all future cash flows, minus the current cash flow. So putting in the terminology of the session 2 on time value of money, so that means the present value equals a current value. So current value is like the loan, right? In terms of the terminology for the loan amount, for the time value of money. The current cash flow is like the loan amount, and actually in this case, because this is negative, so it's like the lending, the amount of the money that's lent out. And starting from year one, you get some positive cash flow. So that's like connecting interest payment, connecting the loan payment from the borrowers. So in this case, we can use the interest rate. So the second way to get IRR is to utilize that to calculate this as an interest rate example. We use the rate function, and then the n periods. The number of periods here is the number of annuity payments. So here we have 9. So we have the 9th here. And the payment, that's the annuity payment. So we can use 18,200. The present value here, that's like the this one, the current cash flow. And the future value, there's no future value. And all other arguments we can just ignore. So again, this is because by default, Excel doesn't give you any decimal places. So we have to change that. Keep two decimal places. And you can see the second way of getting IRR will give you exactly the same answer as the first way. But second way utilizes the cash flow feature of this specific example, which is that starting from year one, it has an annuity cash flow. So we can put this into the framework of calculating the interest rate given the present value of annuity. But the first way is more general. So any cash flow here, you can just put like in this format, and then use the IRR function in Excel to figure out the IRR for this cash flow stream.